Let's dive right into this explainer and build a mental model of the Nasdanika model tower. If you're a software architect, principal engineer, or technical leader seeing this for the first time, think of this overview as your structural map to navigating the system effectively.
The core idea we're working with here relies on micromodels. We're talking about metamodels, small enough to read in a single sitting, formal enough for tools and AI agents to parse, and published and consumed as ordinary Maven artifacts. The tower itself is simply the discipline that keeps them small. It enforces a strict rule. Each floor extends the floor below it and adds exactly one concern.
Because everything above a floor inherits its vocabulary, no single model has to define more than its own specific concern. It creates a really elegant dynamic. The tower gets taller, and the models get smaller.
Let's walk briskly up the spine to see how this works, starting at the foundation with N-core. This model gives us documentation as structure, time, and provenance, right down to the Git commits.
Sitting directly on top of that foundation is role, which handles ownership and responsibility as data.
With ownership established, IAM steps in to determine exactly who can see and do what, for humans and agents alike.
Seal then secures those identities by adding signatures and encryption, which allows a single source to safely generate variants for multiple audiences.
Moving up, Lifecycle maps out stages and transitions, all protected by guarded signed approvals.
As elements move through those lifecycle stages, accounting tracks the cost, whether that's dollars, hours, or tokens, attributable to any element in the graph.
To capture the why behind it all, Decision tracks alternatives, criteria, and the specific experts who weighed in on a choice.
Binding then commits those choices, recording exactly which alternative was bound where, ensuring decisions don't silently drift over time.
Above that, governance overlays your frameworks, policies, controls, risks, evidence, and waivers.
Work provides actionable work items and temporal constraints that can be attached to literally anything in the tower.
Architecture maps out elements and relationships, letting you load vocabularies like C4, Archimate, and TOGAF as instance catalogs rather than burning them permanently into the metamodel. Finally, threat caps off the spine. It covers assets, threats, and trust boundaries, loading Stride, ATTK, Atlas, and OWASP as catalogs. Because of the strict discipline of the tower, every one of these models remains deliberately small and scoped.
Now, what's really fascinating is how domain-specific models branch off the spine horizontally. They aren't forced into the core hierarchy, they just plug in at the exact floor they require.
Take the agent stack, for instance. It grounds AI governance directly into the threat floor, meaning agents are governed by construction before the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, is even modeled on top. Then there's the pull stack, which lets personas articulate their concerns. This ensures that organizational capabilities are pulled by actual organizational needs rather than just being pushed by vendors.
Estate models land on the tower and get to inherit ownership, governance, work, and threat handling completely for free. It is worth noting here that Maven is huge, but that's strictly because it's generated directly from the massive POM XML schema, rather than being hand-authored.
The crucial takeaway here is this concrete composition. Trace a single architecture element down through the floors. It is owned, access-controlled, staged, costed, decided, governed, and threat-modeled, purely through inheritance. The architecture model itself didn't have to define a single one of those concerns.
Stated plainly, everything we've looked at today is open source. It is published to GitHub with generated documentation sites for each model. Currently, there are 29 models building today, while the rest are taking shape in public.
To wrap things up, you absolutely do not need to adopt the whole tower at once. Just ask yourself, which floor is nearest to your current architectural friction? Enter the tower there. Read that specific model first and let the floors below hold it up.